Hello and welcome to another episode of
The English Couple.
the Old English Couple. Oh no,
Hey.
not the other. I'm sorry.
Steady on. Speak
not
for
old.
yourself, boy.
I wasn't talking about our age. Anyway, never mind. Today,
Hello,
Julia.
Richard.
Hello, Julia. Yes, thanks. Welcome aboard. We the other day we made a video where we were on a piece of land with an ancient woodland, which
Did we?
was
Yeah, we
fantastic,
did.
with bluebells and things. Today we're on another piece of land. We've been very kindly invited.
By yet another lovely couple.
Another lovely couple
English.
who are English,
Half English
well,
couple.
half English, and they are. This is their smallholding,
Yes.
and so we are in East Sussex this time, it's just north of the South Downs, and it's we're going to have a little look round because it's kind of exactly what we want to do, really.
Yes, exactly. Now let me introduce you to, there's Barbara, Bernadette, Betty, Bertha, Boblina.
Boblina, is that a
Boblina.
name?
I've just made it up.
You just made it up. It's a great name, Julia. I love it.
Bethany over there. Bertrand over there. Anyway.
So yes, this
But yeah,
is
they've got-
a beautiful farm. I'm going to come around the other side of you just to be awkward, so we can see a little bit of it. And they've got a project going on here in which they get other people to come on. It's not just them farming, the couple themselves. People can invest in the farm and become farmers themselves, which is an amazing idea. And it's kind of what we want to do. Lots of-
Yeah, it's so amazing because we've come and met this lovely couple who've invited us here, and what we're seeing here is exactly what we've been envisioning for
Yes,
ourselves, isn't
yes.
it? It's like,
And I think there is a thing, you know, I mean, it's kind of like a bit of a spiritual thing, whereas you concentrate on something or you think about something and slowly parts of it that shows you on the right track starts to happen.
so they've
These
got
hens, though, look at them.
they've got about 30 chickens here, I think they said.
Are they chickens?
Yes,
Look at
they're
them.
chickens.
Look at this one here, look at him.
They're, I can't even remember how many different breeds, she said. There's a silky over there, the black one.
There's one that looks like a poodle, a white one that looks like a poodle.
I think that's another silky, that one. I don't even know all the different, I think actually Bantam is the only other chicken breed name I could tell you,
When
but
we
they
have
don't
our
have
own
any of
chickens,
those.
we're going to have to learn all this, you know that,
Of course,
don't
of course, and I'm going to love it. I'm going to thrive
love
off
it
it.
too.
It'll be the best days of my life.
Yes, it's what we were born to do.
Yeah.
It's that feeling of getting back to the land.
So we've got chickens.
Yes,
Oh.
and I love all this kind of stuff,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
the old seed growing house and the
greenhouse.
Greenhouse, yes, that's the word.
Yeah, and two empty stables. They're empty of animals, but they've got
Empty, yes.
thick stored things in there. So ultimately they're going to have goats coming here,
Pigs.
cows, and there was something else. I'm sure there was something else. Doesn't matter. They've got it's a little bit of a mixed farming, isn't it?
Yes.
when-
It's like, you know, it's sort of a miniature mixed farming on a small scale. But actually, that's how farming was done.
Yes.
You know, mixed farming was
For
the
many-
way that it used to be done. And
For many centuries.
I was chatting to Keivor, the
gentleman.
the gentleman of the partnership, and saying, you know, it's like going back to the Anglo-Saxons, in which you have your little small holding and your mixed farming. You've got all the animals, your growing stuff for yourself, but also the community, and sort of that's sort of, you know, Neolithic farming, the Anglo-Saxon farming. It's where sort of farming in this country really sort of began to be a much more established thing, I suppose.
Yeah.
So we're
Making our way round to the other side of
yes,
the
because
small holding.
this is where the growing is.
Yes.
And what a delightful environment. It's so open, isn't it? Spacious and open, and I think that's
It's not at all claustrophobic,
no.
as one might get in a town or city.
Yes,
It's a
I
bit
mean,
boggy at the minute because of all the heavy rain,
we've
but
had a lot of rain. We had that when we went into the woodland last week.
we certainly did.
But this is the This
So
is
this is the they've been calling it their forest garden.
forest garden.
I know this sort of thing as a food forest.
Right.
So we've got fruit and nut trees in here, as well as all sorts of other perennial plants, food plants. You coming in?
Yes.
It looks lovely. I mean,
So
I've been on about food forests for quite a long time. I want to create one desperately.
Yes,
Would love to.
They've not been here that long, since about 2020, I think they said. So it's all very new and growing. But it will be a mixture of different trees and then an underscore of different plants.
Yes, so
So
an underlayer, story, understory.
An understory. So there'll be all sorts of things growing.
See a strawberry plant there, mint. Are these cornflowers, these little blue ones?
I think they are forget-me-nots.
Oh yes. What's this?
It took me a while to remember.
Some more berries of sorts.
Raspberries or blackberries?
Possibly, I don't know. But so much here. Oh, there's a nice apple tree growing there.
So you can imagine in the next sort of 10 years' time, so much would have grown, and it will be amazing. So it's all that early.
Very much more established, isn't it?
Yes, it's
early
a long-term
stages.
project, isn't it? And this is the kind of thing we need to get back to. Here we go. Look, that looks like an apple of some description.
Apple, yes. It's a Katie bush, apparently.
And this is what I would love to be able to experiment with, is growing some of those older varieties, you know, not the varieties you just see in the supermarkets, but some of those more nutritious and...
Heritage?
Heritage, yes.
Breeds?
Species, not species, varieties.
Yes, there we go,
There
that
we
will
go.
do.
We kind of know. Let's sweep round and give you a different image of what's this project. So it's an early on project. And I've actually made a walk here, but we don't want to sort of give it away really at this point. I've walked past on a public footpath on one of my videos in the past. But what an amazing thing. So part of the project is people can invest, they can actually buy parts of the land as, you know, at a sort of small part, but they're part of the whole collective. So it's not like just I buy a bit of land and grow whatever it is and that's it. It's from what I understand is it's a community. It's building back a community.
Based around farming rather
Based
than
around, yeah.
profit and industry.
So you can be a part-time farmer or a full-time, as much as you want, really. I think one of the important things, though, is, as they try to do, is to get children and young people interested back into the land. I think that's going to be so important going into the future for our well-being and humanity.
Absolutely.
Because food, of course, natural... I'm going to come this side of it, actually. Natural organic food is going to be so important.
I still find it so preposterous that we have to label it as organic to state that it has none of the modern stuff on it.
Yes.
It's
Just checking that we haven't frozen. No, we haven't frozen. Sometimes the camera plays up.
been a bit of a glitchy GoPro of late.
Let's just show you an image here as we come up. Yes, so Keivor described it as beyond organic, because the thing about this is that if you're part of the farming community based on a project like this and you're eating your own food, you don't really need to have any kind of label at all. You know what's gone on to it. You grew it, or you saw other people growing it. And when there's pigs and cows and you're drinking the milk from the cows or whatever, it's so obvious what the food is and how healthy it is. So here you get a glimpse really of what it is. It's not intensive at all, but they're going to expand so that more and more of the food, we're in spring, so a lot of stuff is just at the early stages. Can't tell you exactly what is what, because I'm not sure what they...
I tried to name some earlier, and well, let's just say, for example, I pointed at these and went, oh, are they spring onions? No, they're garlic.
Oh, they're garlic. Oh,
I
yes.
think they're garlic. Oh, well. Oh, look, there's radishes in there. I can see the radishes.
Oh, see the radishes.
Fantastic.
So I think they're going to end up with a
Lettuce.
couple of acres of this, all of this, which is great. But setting something like this up, of course, the initial investment is obviously quite a lot, and then the infrastructure that you need, all of the bits and pieces that you need to do it. You can't just get into it. So it's great that they're building towards a collective.
Tulips.
And it's nice to have flowers
Very
in
lovely.
amongst, bordering the growing area. It just adds a sort of...
It looks like in most cases, I don't know, because I wasn't there when you filmed your other bit with Keivor, but it looks like they're doing a couple of different plants in each section. Like there was the radishes with something else over there.
Yes,
which is
there's a name, isn't there, for that, where you're growing two crops within each other, so that they
complement each other and they kind of help each other.
Yes, exactly.
And
this is the sort of things that once we get a plot of land that we can start growing
and learning,
because it's very difficult just to sort of read a book when you can't immediately go out and try stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you can read a book and you can take in the information, but not all of it's going to stick.
No.
Unless you're putting all this into practical use.
So one of the things that Keivor told me, he said that they're using a no-dig process. So rather than tilling the soil, because this is on chalk, it's a mixture of chalk, clay and sand from where we are. So they're building up a surface of compost on top.
And then sowing the plants
And then
into
sowing
that.
the plants. And over time, it will sort of, because it's mainly been used, I think, for horses here.
Oh yes, pastures.
The pasture. So I think over the years, the natural nitrogens and the fertilizer and all of the, and the natural stuff that needs to go in the soil will start to build up, as I understand it.
Yeah.
So it takes time to get the soil back into a position where it's ideal for growing.
Yeah,
and
healthy.
Earlier,
Healthy again.
we saw a bird of prey earlier flying around. And you're very good at the names of these things. And I said, I don't know what it is. But it was either a buzzard or a...
It's very sweet of you to say. I'm not actually very good at it.
Well, you're better at it
I
than
think
I
that
am.
was a bird of prey.
Oh, right.
But no, red kites I can absolutely, I say absolutely, I can usually identify. I've come to recognise their wing shape. I had perfect opportunity to learn that when we were on the Thames.
Oh, you've got to just hold the camera for a second, because I've got to be a farmer for a minute. See? Know what I mean? I've come on my land here and I've just picked a whole load of things. I can't tell you what they are, because they're things that grew in the ground. I can picture myself doing all of this stuff, hoeing and weeding and planting and watering and despairing when the weather changes and when nothing is growing and going, I can picture. I'm so keen now to get my hands into the soil and grow stuff. Aren't you?
Yes, absolutely.
This is, and there's so much space. I love this. So much space to enjoy the landscape, really, as well. And it's so open, and you've got the beauty of the downs. You can imagine having a break and sitting back with your sandwiches from homemade bread that you've grown,
Grown your heritage wheats.
I would turn a corner of this, if I had that sort of space, to grow my own wheat or spelt or something.
Absolutely.
And you sit there with a hunk of bread and freshly made cheese from the cows, because obviously if you tweak you do the teats,
milking. What?
You can teat them in a way that cheese comes out. That's what I understand. I don't know what book I read there.
I
I think it was Noddy and Toyland's
I think it was
cheese.
Believe This, You'll Believe Anything.
That was the name of the book.
Yeah,
Yes, that's it.
that's it.
No, but do you know what I mean? That whole having a little miniature dairy and you
Yeah,
can make
yeah.
all of your stuff, or in your
A little
kitchen.
room to put the cheeses in when they're wrapped and maturing.
And I can't believe that this isn't a dream of a lot of people.
No, it's strange to think that not everyone feels that way.
We can hear horses,
I
Julia.
can hear.
And they're
hooves,
coming up.
no, going down
You
that
want
way.
to have a look at them, don't you? Go on. Oh, where are they
They're
going?
going
They're
away.
going the wrong way.
Yeah. Going the opposite direction.
Ah,
So another thing they've got here is a composting toilet.
a composting toilet.
Yes.
You mean the toilet composts?
No, it composts the defecant.
Ah, okay.
So
We've actually both used it, haven't we?
we have. We won't take too close a look at it.
Yeah, I was.
I was just thinking, is someone in there? I don't think there is. That's it. So you have the cubicle. You have your bucket with scoop
And what's in the
and
bucket?
sawdust.
Ah,
And then obviously the toilet. You sit down, you do your biz, and you put on some sawdust on the top. And then that can all, if I can break the door, and that all gets composted.
so it saves all those nasty chemicals if
Yes.
you've got a toilet
And
outdoors.
it keeps it all circular, you know,
Yes.
in the loop.
And I know I was, sorry, just adjust the camera a bit. I was watching a video in which for gents only, they use a bale of straw.
Oh yes.
And Laure, the lovely lady here, was telling me, she says, oh, that's brilliant because it actually utilises both parts of
Yeah, the carbon in the straw and the
nitrate. Is
is it
it
ammonia?
nitrogen? The
Thanks.
nitrogen in the wee.
Yes.
So, and then you can basically use it immediately, which is great. So, you know, when we go to the loo, we're wasting
Absolutely.
an
Precious
opportunity.
commodities.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible. So there is so much that I think is here, and so much that rings with what we want to do
Yes, yes.
in the future.
Absolutely.
Just trying to find a plot of land at a reasonable price,
Mm-hmm.
which you could possibly live on, which would be ideal for us because we both live in separate abodes at the moment.
At the moment.
But it would be lovely to find somewhere
Yes.
in which we could do that.
Live the dream.
And live the dream. And it would be great for your kids, of course.
Absolutely. I mean, it would really bring them out of themselves as such.
Yeah.
Well, no, out and into themselves.
Out
I think
and-
that's the
yes,
thing.
And they would develop massively.
Mm-mm.
So there we go. Well, that's kind of it. And it'd be lovely to come back in a year or two's time to
Or
see.
even a few months.
Well, even in a few months, I
to
know. I'm just
see the
thinking
animals.
long term.
Yeah,
Oh yes,
see
with the
different-
animals, of
The
course.
animals aren't all here yet. They've only just got the chickens.
I think the pigs,
recently.
pigs
Pigs
Laure
coming
said, are pregnant.
This week. Yes, they're getting 2 female pigs, 2 sows who are pregnant, and 2 males. What are they called?
Yeah.
I think, did you call them bulls? I can't remember.
What do you call a male pig? Stubborn. I don't know what you call
Well,
them.
you're not a
actually.
male pig.
No, thanks. But I am stubborn. Yeah, how interesting.
How
Anyway,
interesting.
I'd love to see the piglets. So if you'd like to see that, do write down in the comments.
Yes.
But yeah, that's been our little whistle-stop tour round of a small holding that the lovely Julia and I are now, again, insanely jealous.
Yes.
But it
But
does...
really pleased for them because they're
But
living the dream.
Absolutely, and it shows it's possible. People are doing it, and I think the stars are slowly aligning.
Absolutely.
The noise you can
Stealing
hear
my
is
line again.
somebody putting up a fence, so that's not an industrial noise that you would normally
Turning
hear.
a cement mixer.
So there we go, and this is their barn that was here, that's been refurbished, and you know clearly you need something like that to store all your tools that you can lock up and have a little bit of
Your
power.
base of operations. Make a cup of
fantastic.
tea and things like that.
Well,
Because heaven
Julia,
knows you need a cup of tea, don't you?
you need a cup of tea, and we've very kindly we've been given cups of tea. So that's it.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed our little whistle stop. How beautiful and how wonderful, and it's great to see people doing this.
Yes, it's really, really
Inspired us.
comforting and inspiring, and it's just so wonderful.
So join us again on another video where who knows where the English couple will be, exploring the countryside and finding out what's going on.
Yes.
So from Julia and I,
We look forward to seeing you next time.
bye-bye.
Bye.